What is up, ladies and gentlemen? It is your boy, Shelly Red, and we're back with another reaction. Today, we're checking out some Ren, so I'm not going to waste any more time. Let's hop right into this video. All right, ladies and gentlemen, we are over here at the video. I'm going to put in my earbuds, and we're going to rock this thing. So today, we have something a little different, and shout out to all the folks on or in the Sick Boy comments that mentioned that there was kind of some drama unfolding behind the scenes when it came to Sick Boy. So I'm gonna the uh, check out Ren's side today. I think there's only Ren's side. There might be other sides to this, but he's specifically going to be talking about Kujo Beats and all the streaming platforms, and I think maybe even specifically YouTube as a streaming platform. I think he's going to touch all those bases today. I'm really curious to see what's going on here because to me, when I first, I don't know. I don't know how production is done, but I know some things about streaming. And when I first watched the video, I was like, what's the big deal? But I'm going to just see what Ren has to say here, and we're going to kind of break this down as we go along. So let's get it.
This is a video that I never ever really wanted to have to make, but it's very important for me that I do. All the time, artists all over the world pour their souls into their work, and that work is tainted by money or greed. A lot of you will have been asking me the question why Sick Boy has disappeared now, as well as YouTube on streaming services. It's a video that was very close to me. It's a video that told my story about my health. It's a video that told the story of many other people who have been gaslit by the medical community. It's a story of greed in the music industry, ironically, funnily enough. It's also a song that I poured tens of thousands of pounds into for a music video, for promotion. It was also the leading title of the only #1 album that I've got, so I was very, very proud of it.
Wow.
And we'll no longer have that song, guys. And I want to go into the reasons why. Also, I do recommend sticking around to the end of this video, because I've got a very exciting announcement about all of this that relates to all of this right at the end. People who have...
So before he goes any farther here, I got to check when this was released. Okay, this was released about a year ago, so it's still relatively recent. And also, if you haven't already, make sure you go check out my reaction to Sick Boy. I'll try to pin it somewhere on the screen here. But that was a really amazing song. It had some really powerful messages in it too, so I can kind of see why maybe it was a target for I don't know, overall the medical industry, and then on top of it, the music industry, like you said, funny enough. So anyhow, I'm going to keep this pushing.
Very exciting announcement about all of this that relates to all of this right at the end. People who have been following me for a while, they'll know the sort of person I am, they know the principles that I have, and they'll know how I treat other independent artists. So they'll know why it was so important for me to have to make this video. And I want this to be as unbiased as possible. Obviously, I'm emotionally affected by it, and that may leak in, right? But I want to share entire clips of these conversations so there can be no doubt. Also, if Kujo and his girlfriend want to share any more screenshots of other those conversations, I encourage them to, because I believe that this should all be public knowledge, so there can be no doubt. Rather than taking people's words from it, I would like them just to see transparently what has happened here. To give context for all of this, back in 2022, I buy a beat from BeatStars, right? For anyone who doesn't know, BeatStars is a platform that connects producers to artists who need beats. I do produce most of my own work, but I wanted to find some hip-hop beats for inspiration. What I would usually do is buy a beat, arrange it slightly differently, tweak it myself, add my own vocals, add my own layers and stuff like that. I find this banging beat, right, from a producer called KUJOBEATS, which I buy an unlimited license for. This is all very important to keep in mind for later on, right? I buy an unlimited license.
Oh, let's take a look at this a little closer here. So, unlimited use, $99, used for music recording, one music video, distribute up to unlimited copies for profit live performance, unlimited online audio streams, radio broadcasting rights, unlimited stations. Okay.
Which means that I I'm able to put it on all streaming platforms and get as many streams as I want, and all recording on platforms like YouTube, etc. Right?
Yeah.
After I do this, I send my YouTube guy that I work with, and I send the publishing team an email just giving them a heads up, being like, yo guys, I bought this beat, they need to be registered correctly, content ID needs to be turned off. I'll put a clip of that. I'm putting screenshots of those messages here just in case Kujo claims I never did this. I did do this. I also went the extra mile and messaged the team and said, look, we need...
Sorry. Going back, I didn't get to read all this. Hey guys, because Sick Boy was a licensed beat, thought I'd send you guys this to make sure nothing will be breaching the contract. We'll need to turn content ID off when distributing the audio and visual.
Did this. I did do this. I also went the extra mile and messaged the team and said, look, we need to credit him on Spotify credits and stuff like that as well, because sometimes...
Hey guys, can we update Spotify, Apple credits, etc. to include the producers of the tracks I sent the license over for? Please, if you need the license, it says that they need to be credited. And just from a moral standpoint, it'd be good to look at it. It's all, I want a credit license. Some of them are different. Gotcha.
Artists don't always fully credit producers. I think
that really covering spaces.
Forgot to do it in the YouTube description for like the first month or two, and then I updated it, and then he was fully credited the whole time. Right, that was just a lapse because there was a lot going on. I was in Canada treating and stuff. But anyway, he was credited fully, like very soon in everywhere, and as far as I was aware, registered everywhere. So I don't think anything of it. Right. Also, in the BeatStars contract, it says very clearly that the person selling you the beat has to own the beat. And if there are any elements of the beat that he doesn't own, he has to let you know. This is very important to remember for what is to follow as well, right? So yeah, I think there's no problems. I buy the beat. I record a song. This is before things have blown up with my music, so I'm still pretty underground artist at this point. I record the track, put it out. I even get a message from him at some point, which is also important to remember because of the hypocrisy of this whole situation. Just like, wicked, I love the track. Okay? Remember that too. Before I begin, I just want to add this. Wow. I have no problem with BeatStars. I think they're a very innovative company who actually help people make art, which I'm very, very passionate about. I think the contracts and the things you're getting into could be clearer, because we're now in a situation negotiating older tracks bought from BeatStars. I would love to talk to the, if anyone from there is watching, I imagine they will be at some point, I would love to talk to the CEO, founder of BeatStars, face to face, just because I want to understand how something like this could have happened, and I want to understand why it escalated the way it did, because from what I've heard, he's someone who cares a lot about artists, and someone who creates a platform like that I think must be very passionate about music. I'd love to chat to you if you're listening, and I'd love to figure out why this happened and how we can stop things like this happening in the future. I also think that there needs to be a bit more stringent checks on if people are selling unlicensed samples, because then things tend to get a little bit sticky like they have here. Anyway, that's it. I have no problem with BeatStars because I'm not interested in going to war with them, because I think that it's really cool that there's a platform like that exists for artists and producers to be connected. Just thought I'd put that out there, make that clear. Right, so I arrive home from Canada after a 1.5 year long treatment of treating brain damage and autoimmunity, which a lot of you will know if you've been following my journey. And I'm expecting a nice 2 weeks with my mates before I do my first ever solo show in 5 years because of my health. So I'm just like, I want a nice chill time. I want to be able to focus on rehearsing and stuff. Very early on, I wake up to a message saying, yo, your song Sick Boy has been taken down. So I look at it, and sure enough, it's been copyright striked from this guy KUJOBEATS' channel. And initially I'm like, oh, this just must be some automatic fuck up. So like, I don't take it too seriously. I send him a message like, yo, there must have been a technical error or something here. No response for 2 days. So I'm like, what's going on? So I check his channel.
Yo, man, my song just got copyright striked. Had paid for that and tagged like you requested. What's going on? My channel has a copyright strike now, and that video made millions of views, was paid for through BeatStars, and we even spoke about it.
No response for 2 days. So I'm like, what's going on? So I check his channel, And then I see a comment of that beat that he licensed me, and I see a comment that's like, Ren has left me no choice. I'm sorry that I had to do this. And I'm like, okay, so this was intentional. Like, what? Like, the last conversation I had with this guy was months ago with him being like, yo, big up your work, it's sick. So I'm like super confused about it. So I send him another email like, dude, what's going on? Again, I get absolutely no response. So I put a comment on his YouTube comment section and I'm like, bro, I'm trying to get hold of you. Why are you ignoring me? Like, I just want to resolve this amicably. What's going on?
Oof. This is actually, this is insane. Okay. Like, I just feel like Kujo Beats, from what I'm seeing right now, it just seems like Kujo Beats saw Ren's success and had to try to capitalize on that and try to make money off of it. Like, it's such a wrong thing to do. Like, I don't get it.
Finally, I get a response on Instagram. And for the sake of this video, I'm just going to put all of these responses in their full form so that there can be no doubt as to what happened. I'm just going to read out like the key moments and explain the key moments. But if anyone's like interested in deep diving so there can be no doubt as to what's happened here, feel free to pause it. If Kujo and his girlfriend, like I said, feel like I've left anything out, they are welcome to post it. I have nothing to hide about this situation. So he responds and he tells me that he's been talking to my lawyer for months, which I have no idea about. I've been in Canada. And he seems like quite a nice guy initially, so I'm like, okay, maybe this has all just been a misunderstanding. I remember even saying to like Connor and that, I was like, this has probably just been a misunderstanding and something's gone wrong here. Don't worry. He seems like you're all right, dude. We will sort this out. But then after that little exchange, I noticed a comment in the YouTube comment section on his video saying that I'm
To all coming from Ren, sick boy, I've waited over a year for Ren and his team to follow the terms of the contract they signed for this beat. During this whole period, I have not issued any strikes with the faith that they would make things right. I asked my legal representative not to issue strikes initially, as I had hoped Ren and his team would do the right thing. Unfortunately, they have delayed and avoided providing any reasonable terms to my team in shamefully long periods of silence. Whoa. Respect the terms of the contract. Don't spread it. Don't lie. What in the
lying
world?
about the situation when I thought that we like
This is
on the
wild.
same page here. So I pull him up on it and he's like, oh no, I didn't say you were lying, when he clearly did. That should have been like the first red flag for me, but still giving him the benefit of the doubt, I was like, okay, maybe another misunderstanding. Anyway, so I contact my lawyer to find out what the hell's happening because I'm in the dark about all of this situation. And he explains to me that I've been sold a beat with a stolen sample, with an unlicensed sample, and that the Bulgarian choir sample owners had chased him and gone, look, you've used this beat without permission. Whoa. You've used this sample without permission, and so you need to give us 50% of the publishing split. And what my lawyer's done, because we were sold a beat in good faith and it wasn't actually cleared, he's reached out to Kujo and gone, look, I think you need to absorb this for selling this in bad faith, basically. And they've gone, no, we're not going to absorb that. And then it's escalated, and I think because my lawyer was being slightly slow with the responses, they also, keep in mind, I don't know any of this is happening right now. To get my attention, they issue a copyright strike on the video, which affects my YouTube channel, by the way, and the video gets taken down as a form of leverage, which is a bizarre way of dealing with things, I think, because
I don't even bizarre. I think that's just wrong. Like that is really bad. It also seems like Kujo was just doing a little bit of CYA. Like, if you did something wrong to begin with, and then you knowingly pass that on to someone else, I mean, the only reason you would be throwing strikes at Ren was to CYA. I mean, it's unbelievable. This is insane.
it would have been a good idea to contact me, maybe, like anyone first, if this was getting so like blown up. Like maybe the lawyers, maybe Kujo could have actually reached out to me, the artist. Nobody did. So I found that a bit bizarre. Any fucking way. Then I read another comment that Kujo's posted.
We can talk on Instagram or email if you want. I've been in negotiations with your lawyer for months without receiving any satisfactory response. You have yet to pay me the royalties you owe. I think it's cowardly of you to pretend like you have done nothing wrong. Wow. Whoa.
posted calling me
This
a
guy
coward
is
to
unhinged.
pay the royalties he's owed, and I'm like, what royalty? That's also, in my head, the publishers are just paying him the money, and now the situation has to change until everyone agrees on it. But I wasn't even privy to that conversation about what a fair split should be yet. So I was like, what? I don't owe you. I don't owe this guy money. Like, there's no master splits on the BeatStars contracts, by the way. So all money that comes in to Kujo, which should be paid to Kujo, rightly so, comes from the publisher, which is nothing to do with me, by the way. I explained this so many times in this conversation, by the way, and he's adamant to say, probably short of like 50 times, pay me my money. I am nothing to do with his money, right? So it's a very bizarre thing to keep saying, but I try to explain that to him patiently, never really takes it in. Anyway, he calls me a coward on this comment, so I pull him up on that. This actually starts to then rub me up a little bit. So I'm like, I pull him up on that. It's saying like, the hell, like, cowardly? Anyway, I'm still giving him the benefit of the doubt at this point. Anyway, despite this, I feel like he's probably just misinformed, so I still take his side on it, and I go on to reassure him he'll get paid his publishing money because I want him to get paid his publishing money. Doesn't affect me in any way. So like, I was like, yeah, I'll chase it up for you. I let him know that I'm happy to split publishing if there's a bit of a grey area, and I'm kind of reassuring him. It's really important to remember this, by the way, guys, because some of the lies that are posted later make me out to be really unreasonable. So I'm like, yo, if there's some simple mistake, let's split the publishing. It's cool. I'm happy to do that. Yeah. Anyway, so he comes back to me.
Yeah, I feel like.
More.
Whoops. I feel like working with Ren would honestly be a pleasure. Like, I have never thought that Ren would be hard to work with or certainly unreasonable. So it's really interesting. Like, we all kind of know by watching like behind the scenes and stuff like that what kind of person Ren is, and it just doesn't line up with what we've seen. So it's really interesting.
Says it's always up to the performer to clear the sample. It's up to the producer, but unless there's been a conversation. But in this case, as you can see, we're willing to make concessions for you to get your fair share. So actually, it's me making the concessions here because he sold a stolen sample. And I'm like, you know what? You can still have some publishing split, right? So like, I'm actually being the one that's being quite reasonable here. And he's flipped on his head like, we'll be good to you, you know, because I've done nothing wrong in this situation. Anyway, I was like, and then he says, I was under the impression you would have received a warning. I had no idea that the video would be completely taken down. Another lie, as you'll see soon. He and his lawyer agreed to take this video down as a form of leverage. It was our only possible negotiation tactic to get a response. Maybe message me. They're scratching their head. How can we get...
I mean, yeah, that's honestly ridiculous because it looks like Ren has been very responsive, very communicative, and it's like... Why would you have to go that? That's why I said earlier, it's just wrong. Like, and they knew it was wrong too, and yet they did it. And I find it so amazing that that could even be the case, that you would take it that far with someone like Ren. I don't understand.
Get a response. Okay, we'll take his video down, issue a copyright strike, which also I didn't actually violate the contract, not intentionally. So. The only possible tactic, dude, message me, send me an email. Like, you've messaged me before to tell me that you love my work, so like, send me an email about this. Anyway, he says he also wants to wrap it up immediately and get the song back online. Another lie, as you will see later on, because he decides to stick to his guns and use the video as leverage. Anyway, the plot thickens. I get an email from their lawyer, and I'm not going to share it in case they start claiming I'm sharing things I'm not supposed to. But I get an email, and it says, on top of the publishing split, they want a £3,000 payment, right? They want a 15% retroactive split of the master, which has nothing to do with publishing, which means like 15% of everything the song has ever made since it came out. Retroactively, so since it's come out to this moment and then into the future, when I've paid for an unlimited sample, unlimited license beat, and with that you're talking money from record sales, you're talking money from streaming things, you're talking all of that when they haven't put any effort into promoting the song. He's made a beat and he's stolen part of the beat, and he wants 15% of everything the song has ever made for that, plus the £3,000 advance. Out of principle, I wasn't going to give him that, But because like
Good.
may have been slightly open to negotiations if they hadn't used the song as leverage and actually treated me like a decent person. I hadn't put like lies about the situation, right? But nah, out of principle, I wasn't going to agree to that. And also to clarify, when I've been in rooms with producers and we've made a song from scratch, I've done a lot of like 50-50 splits, or I've done like 25-75, or with other collaborated artists, we just agree on a split that's like 50-50, 25. So, you know, like 15% isn't outrageous, right? What's outrageous is that they already sold it with an unlimited license right from the get-go. So you go into BeatStars thinking, I'm buying an unlimited license for this much money, right? And I was broke at the time when I bought that beat. So it's like you go into the situation buying something, and then later on down the line it can come back and sting you if they go, oh, this slight thing, well, we found a loophole here, which means that now you owe us all this money, right? So it's like,
well, here's the deal, and sorry I'm pausing so much, but the reality is that if Sick Boy or any other songs with Kujo beats in it didn't do anything at all, this wouldn't be an issue. The only reason it became an issue was because it blew up. It's just I can tell you right now that Kujo Beats and his team or whatever saw stars in their eyes, and they wanted to chase it. That's literally, that is my perspective on this whole situation. And then on top of it, they figured it was a good opportunity to also do a little CYA. So that's kind of my thoughts on it so far, as we're about like halfway through the video.
Well, we found a loophole here, which means that now you owe us all this money, right? So it's like, it was kind of unfair, because say you buy a painting off somebody for £10, and then the price of it rises exponentially because maybe the painter dies or something, or he becomes really popular. You don't then just go back to the person you sold it to and go, oh, that painting's worth like 20 times more now, give me a bit more money for it, because the transaction's been done. And that's kind of how I felt about the BeatStars thing. It wasn't about me losing money, it was about the principle of like, we've stepped into this agreement, and I was in full faith thinking I was buying an unlimited sample, but that's unlimited license, sorry, but that's not actually what's happened, is it? Right? And it says that if I don't agree to this, they're within their right to claim 100% of the song because I have breached something in the contract, right? Now, this is what I breached. Apparently, Content ID was turned on the track, okay, on YouTube. As you'll see from my earlier on in this video, I actually specifically requested Content ID was turned off, and my YouTube guide did turn it off. There has been something to do with the distribution where somewhere along the line, even after I specifically requested this, it may have gotten turned on at some point, right? Where this doesn't actually make any money, which we've got proof of, because I actually let reactors, I let content creators monetize their own videos where they're reacting to my songs. I've done this since the start because I believe that everyone should get paid. It helps promote me. I'm not losing out. Everyone's a winner. A rising tide lifts all ships, baby. So, like,
shout out to Ren. He's a beast.
I'm like, they're using this as leverage, but legally, but thus is the world. They actually had something to lean on with that. So they were like, look, if you don't agree to these terms, 15% retroactive master split, this share on publishing, and a £3,000 advance against the master, we're going to take 100% of what you own. At this point, I'm obviously pretty annoyed, which is pretty understandable, right? Anyway, at this point, they've got my attention, so there's no reason they need to use the video for Sick Boy as leverage, right? So I give them a fair warning. I'm like, mate, if you don't put the video back up on Friday, I'm going to have to put a public post explaining why it's down. And I give him a fair warning, which is also important to remember, because later on he plays the victim, saying that I've put a post encouraging my fans to bully him, which I didn't. I gave him a fair warning about it. I never once encouraged them to bully him. I just needed to explain why my video was down, because this was proper stressing me out, and I feel like I didn't want to be silenced about the whole situation. But the time comes around, I put the post out, and I'm always still thinking for like a positive solution here. So I have like a brainwave of like, oh, I've got a brilliant solution, right? So I approach him and I'm like, dude, look, I know that things got complicated here, but out of principle, I don't really want to budge on the master split for this thing, but I've got a much better idea, because a lot of my fan base are like now giving him, because I put the public post out, a lot of my fan base are giving him grief, and I'm like, you know what, I want this guy's life to get ruined because of this, like, despite how frustrated it's made me. I didn't want this guy to get ruined. I didn't want him to get abused about it. I just wanted to get the song back. That was the thing. So like, I sent him a message. I'm like, dude, look, I thought of the thing because I am a man of principle. I didn't want to bend to threats and stuff about the song being claimed 100%. So I'm like, I've got a much better idea. Let's make a song. We'll split it 50-50 down the middle. Master, publishing, everything. A song from scratch. Then if we do that way, it'll be like a fuck you to the industry. Yeah, you and me on a track. You'll make way more money this way because it's 50-50. You'll also get my fan base on your side. It's going to be a great thing because I'm always like, I want to look forward. I don't want to look backwards. I don't want to look at all these things that happened in the past. I'm like, this is actually going to make him even more. And he rejected it. He turned it down, which I still think to this day.
This guy is honestly just stupid. I apologize, but I also don't apologize. That is insane. The fact that Ren is even making these concessions in the first place, good on him. I would not be doing this, especially if I had good legal representation for BeatStars or the original contract from BeatStars. I wouldn't be giving anything. I'd be pursuing it legally and we would just wrap it up. Like, honestly, for me, it's dragged on way too far. It's wild. I mean, you just knew from the get-go, based off of Kujo's his overall posture towards the situation, that he would not budge, that he wants money. And when you offer him something like a really great offer where he's going to benefit massively from it, he rejects it. Like right then and there. It should just be it should be on. That's crazy.
It is a bit of a silly move given what happened and what happened next, but it's a shame, man. And if you're watching this, you really should have taken that. I'm sure you are watching it. You really should have taken that deal. It was brilliant. Not only would it set you up with way more money, which is obviously what you most care about in this situation, but it also got loads of my fans on your side, which would also set you up for all things that you release independently as well, and you'd have come out this looking good.
And excuse me, on top of it, who knows? If they would have squashed the beef and everything, Sick Boy would have done well. They both would have been making money. Who knows? There could have been more collaboration between the two. Like, that's the sad part about all this, is that creative potential was lost in this process and bridges were burnt. It's just so sad to see, man.
Set you up for all things that you release independently as well, and you'd have come out this looking good. Shame. I offered you that olive branch. I offered quite a few olive branches on numerous occasions, which you weren't interested in. Then after that, there's a post on Instagram saying that I've stolen samples from people. Which is bizarre because I never have. So I send him a message being like, he said that a British artist has got in touch with him and been like, Ren steal samples, which is obviously complete made up bullshit, right? So I messaged him about that. I'm like, what samples have I stolen? The Vera Hall one that I just put out, totally cleared. We cleared that with publishing company because I actually don't like steal my samples. And then any covers that I've done, they're just on YouTube. You're allowed to do that because there's a cover license on YouTube. So like, what are you talking about? To which he then just like ignores it, takes the post down, and then like and then just goes on some other fucking tangent. So it's like kind of grasping at straws here to make me look like the bad guy. So we arranged to have this call with the lawyers and Kujo, and I'm actually really excited to have the call because it's the first time I can talk to Kujo face to face, deal with this like grown-ups, like adults, and talk to each other. But it's not how it pans out. So we get on the call, and the first thing that happens is the lawyer just says, look, Ren, I think that you taking this public was very unprofessional. And I was like, hold on a second, I wasn't the person who took this public, first of all. Like, taking the video down is an aggressive move. And also, I didn't take it public, first of all. Kujo was commenting countless things on his YouTube before I even make the comment. Calling me a liar, a coward, a numb. So, like, to say that I took this public, nah, I just responded to what happened and then explained to my fans why the song was down. Those posts are still up for everyone to see. All the posts on his comments are still there for everybody to see. So first of all, it was kind of like we got into it straight away with me like having to be like, I put it straight and then everyone was like, okay, yeah, fair enough. The funniest thing about that call is Kujo was on it. He did not say a single word. Even when I like addressed him with questions, his lawyer would interject and go, I can answer that. And I'm like, yeah, I kind of want to talk to the person who's like, like an adult. I want to talk to this person. And then my lawyer there's even a moment where my lawyer's like, look, I want to address this question to Kujo. Do you actually feel like this situation is fair? He says nothing, and the lawyer interjects again. So for that whole call, which took about half an hour, 40 minutes, he didn't say a single word, and I thought that's disrespectful.
Yeah.
Given the circumstances. He later claimed that it was because he doesn't legally know enough, and it should be between the lawyers. But no, man. Like, regardless of your legal knowledge, we can still have a conversation like adults. Like, I'm not here to try and like intimidate or anything like that. I want to talk to you like a grown-up, brother. And that didn't happen. I wasn't afforded that luxury. I was talking a fair bit on that call about how I felt about the situation and what I felt was...
The only reason I could ever see that like being beneficial at all is if it's recorded. Like that would be probably the first thing I would start off with is this being recorded? Like, if it's not being recorded and it's a public or it's a private conversation, why wouldn't you say a word? Like, I don't get it. I understand like letting professionals handle it, but at the same time, I really don't understand the complete silence that came from Kujo. I think that is disrespectful, and I think it's maybe to turn it around on Kujo. I think that was cowardly, especially if it wasn't recorded or it wasn't for public record. Just wild.
Was right. And I also said on that call that I didn't think that a retroactive split was right, because of all the reasons I've mentioned, but it is what it is, man. And then we came off the call and I felt pretty let down by it, to be honest. This is where the plot gets even more ridiculous, and I'm sorry this is a long video, guys, but this is mad, and this is emotionally exhausting, this bit. So I read a bunch of comments on Instagram from this person talking about the contract, saying things that aren't actually in the contract. I'm like, who the is this? So I messaged him and be like, yo, by the way, you're misinformed. The contract actually doesn't state that it's on me to clear the samples. Then I click on the profile, I realise that it's Kujo's girlfriend, so I immediately unsend all those messages, because to be honest, look, he was getting grief from my fans, and I think to myself, you know what? He needs someone supporting him, even though that he's been an arsehole. I don't want to like start messaging his girlfriend and shit, whatever. I'll leave her out of this. But she sees that I've unsent the messages, and she instigates the conversation, says, have you done an oopsie? We start chatting for a long time. We'll put those messages up so that you can read it. It actually ends up being, it seems to me, like it's like semi-amicable after a while of talking to each other. Like you can pause this and read this if you want. It's like basically the long and short of it is like she feels like Kujo's been misrepresented and feels like it's a lot of the industry's fault, my lawyer's fault and stuff like that, which is kind of what Kujo feels like, right? She then threatens to break my kneecaps, which, even though it's a little bit out of pocket, you know me, I laugh about it. The thing that rubs me up about things like that is, if that had been the other way around, I never actually once got violent about this situation. If that had been the other way around, they would have been like, Ren's such a violent... Later on, they would have been like, Ren's such a violent person, or using bully tactics, because they've spoken about like how I'm using bully tactics by simply talking about the situation publicly, transparently. She also gaslights me by saying, like, imagine what would have happened if he had mental health issues. I have a very long list of mental health issues. I am the person with mental health issues. You're not considering what it does to my mental health, are you, when you take down a song that means that much to me? A song that I've poured into, that I'm exposing a part of me that's very vulnerable about my health journey. Like, you're not considering that, are you? All I've done is post publicly about the situation. I've never told anybody to send you guys abuse or anything like that. And actually, if anybody's watching this right now, for clarity, even though I am very annoyed about the situation, I don't want anyone to send them abuse. I don't. You know what I mean? Like, yeah, I'm annoyed about the situation, but it's done now. The song's down. It's gone. Do you know what I mean? So, like, I'm not trying to ruin somebody's life over this. I'll have my own form of revenge, as you'll see at the end of this video. But I'm not trying to ruin anyone's life over this. So, like, if they say to me that I'm trying to incentivize stuff like that, I'm not, guys. I don't want you to go and abuse them, right? But it is up to me to talk about this situation fairly. So, like, we seem to make some middle ground. She's even talking to me about like her ADHD and knows that I've got ADHD, and like, maybe we've just got... So I'm like, you know what? She seems pretty level-headed, right? So like, cool. You know what?
I wouldn't say that. I wouldn't go that far. I mean, I do want to give people the benefit of the doubt, but if you just if you even get unhinged a little bit, it tells me you don't have a lot of discipline. So, like saying that Ren's going to be flying back to London with both of his kneecaps broken, like what? I don't find that reasonable at all. I don't find that level headed at all. I kind of disagree with Ren there, but I get it. He wants to see the best in people. I do as well. But that message is just unhinged. I can't believe she said that. It's just insane.
You know what? She seems pretty level-headed, right? So, like, cool. You know what? Maybe these guys are, it's just a big misunderstanding and we can figure a way to amicably sort this out. And I say to her, look, yeah, I'm happy to split the publishing, but I don't really want to split the master out of principle because I bought this, right? You know, but then at this point I start being like, you know what, maybe I'll split some of the master for the future stuff just to get this out of the way, even though I don't believe I should because they've stolen the beat with a stolen sample. I'm like, if this just gets this over the line, I'm happy to split the future master. I even say that in the email thread to the lawyers and stuff, right? So I'm conceding a little bit here because I just want this situation done with. We end on a good note in this conversation. Then the next morning, I wake up to posts from her all over my Reddit lying about the contract, and then I see a comment on Anthony Ray's video where he's talking about the situation from her, saying this is what the contract says, and she made up she wrote a whole passage that wasn't even in our contract. It was completely made up. So after her being super nice to me behind the scenes in this conversation and feeling like we've read, I wake up to read this and I'm like, I start losing my mind because I'm like, these guys, they're like, they pretend they're on my side and then it's just like they publicly post all this stuff. So I'm like, I put her up on it. I'm like, what the fuck are you doing? Like, first of all, this is defamation. You can't be out here like making up stuff that's not even in the contract, you know? So she's like, yeah, it's ridiculous. Right, so next I find a bunch of messages on Reddit from Kujo's girlfriend lying about the contract, which I'm going to put up here, which is actually very illegal, by the way. No, I won't be pressing charges over it. I just want to get this situation out of the way, but
that's nice.
So I'm just going to put all these up for you to pause and read if you want to. It's ridiculous, basically. She also says that I was obviously upset, so I wasn't the most cooperative. As you guys, if you skip back in this video, you'll see I was extremely cooperative when I found out what was going on. I was being very amicable when I was trying to offer Kujo solutions and being amazingly supportive and sympathetic. I refused to fully acknowledge that a mistake on my end causing Kujo not to get paid was at the heart of all of this. It wasn't. A stolen sample was at the heart of all of this. Yes, the publishers, right, failed to correctly register Kujo, which wasn't anything to do with me. They've now remedied that and there'll be a back payment for whatever percentage we end up on. No money's been lost here, right? That is something that was the publisher's fault, which I was very annoyed about, which I actually sent a message to the publishers about, explaining how annoyed I was about that situation, fighting for Kujo in that, when I didn't have to fight for Kujo because he was being a prick, right? So I sent that message to them anyway, fighting on Kujo's side, because despite all of this, I am a man of principle still, right? I kept threatening to sue and go public. No, I didn't. I wasn't threatening to sue. I did say I would go public if my song carried on being used as leverage. I gave them a very fair warning because they didn't need to use the song, the video as leverage, and they kept on doing that. That was because I kept getting hundreds of messages a day from my fans being like, where's the video, where's the video? And I wanted to address it all at once. And I also felt like I was being treated extremely unfairly, right? I had to accept by giving up all my shares of the song in exchange for a fixed fee. Yeah, that was something between my lawyers. Ren took in public the next morning. Yes, I did.
Also claimed to me in public that he's been choosing publishing money for over a year with no reply, which is why someone is his girlfriend. This was another lie. It's proven in the next screenshots. Jeez. Wow.
Right, let's take this home now. At this point, I've just lost all amicability, right? I'm pissed off. I messaged Kujo's girlfriend and him saying, it's the first time I've threatened to sue, but I'm like, if I see any more lies from you guys about this situation, I will sue you guys. Because it's like, that's my public image. Like, I pride myself on the fairness that I show everyone that I work with, right? And my principles. And I'm also very against greed, and I stand against it militantly, which a lot of you will know from my work and how I treat people. How I treat people that I work with, right? So them spreading this stuff that I'm trying to be greedy here massively hurts my public image. So I was like, if you guys lie anymore about this, yeah, I'm going to do something about it, basically. And then I'm talking to Kujo and things get more heated. We get another email from their lawyer saying, you know, like, if you won't agree to our terms, we will take 100% of the song. That's where we stand on it. That is final. If you do not agree to this retroactive master split, we're taking everything. So I message back. I'm going to show you that email. I message back, essentially summarizing this email. I just say, I'm going to take down the song myself. I'm fed up of this. I'm fed up of you threatening me with my own song that I poured myself into. I've explained what it means to me. I explained to both of them what it means to me. So I'm like, I'm taking it down myself. I don't want to let them win over this. I've been in situations in the music industry before where I had to concede because I was broke and I just had to let a powerful, greedy person win over me, you know, like, and I know this is not the same situation. It's not like Kujo is like this in this huge position of power here, but how they've dealt with this whole situation was ridiculous. So I was like, rather than like bend to this leverage and just out of principle, I'm just going to take the song off. And it's ironic, man, because the song is about greed, you know, and it hurts me a lot that it's down now. It proper hurts me, man. I can't stress that enough because of what the song was and what the song meant to me, but that's the way the cookie crumbles. So I sent these emails. I also send a mass email out to everybody, the publisher, Kujo, the lawyers involved, just saying how disappointed I am across the board, even from people on my side. I was just disappointed at how this whole situation been dealt with, because ultimately at the core of this situation, the only person getting proper hurt financially from this is me, right? Because of my hard work that I've done to promote this music, because of my story and how that's been exploited. I'm the person who will suffer future losses for the earnings, and that regardless of earnings, fuck earnings for a second, that song I was proud of. What it meant to people, I was proud of. The messages that I get from people every day, telling me like how much they relate to the song, how much it helps them through difficult times, you know, like, that's gone now, that's taken away from people. So yeah, I'm pissed off. Anyway, so I send that email out. Me and Kujo share some pretty heated words. If you're a petty person, you'll probably like to pause on some of this. It's ridiculous. One of the things that took the piss the most that he said when I just lost my cool at this point. I lost all patience. One of the funny things he said after all this was like, if you really cared about your fans, then you would leave them the song. So he was turning it around on me when he'd used the song as leverage. He said, if you cared about your fans, you leave it up for them. Then he said, I'm letting my pride and ego get in the way because I'm not paying him money that I didn't think he deserved for selling a stolen beat, right? He's saying that that's my ego. It's my ego's fault. And then he kept saying, just pay me, let me get my bag, I want the money, just give me my money.
That's so funny. That's like, that is textbook emotional manipulation. Like, he still wants to get paid, so he's going to try to emotionally manipulate Ren to try to keep the video up. Like, what? Who is this guy?
And then he kept saying, just pay me, let me get my bag, I want the money, just give me my money. I explained to him again, like, dude, I'm not the person that pays you the money. I've explained this to you so many times. It's the publisher. And he's like, all right, cool. It finally seems to sink in that, like, I haven't stolen this man's money. I haven't taken a penny of this man's money. The publisher was at fault for not registering it properly, and they're resolving that, and then he'll get his money from the publishing. I don't want a penny of that. I don't care about that money. Do you know what I mean? Like, whatever. He deserves a bit of money for making that part of the beat. Sure. He shouldn't have stolen a sample and sold it to me. Theoretically, he could have all of his publishing taken away, but even after all of this, I still agreed to give him a bit of a publishing split just to shut him up, man. So it's like, I could have been even more petty and dug my feet in there, but I just want this situation over with. So the song's down. The funniest comment that I'm going to end this on, because this is going to be some album artwork, by the way, single artwork, sorry. This is the next announcement. He goes, all right, peace. Your music sucks, by the way. Which is really funny, considering, the message earlier where he told me that it was an honour, or it was like, it was really good to work with me, Funny. It's funny, hypocritical. Funny. But yeah, sure, my music sucks, brother. Cool. That's going to be the single artwork, which leads me to my last point, ladies and gentlemen. I'm releasing a song about this whole situation, and it's dedicated to Kujo. And it's coming out next week. It's coming out a week today. It's called Kujo Beatdown. And I love it. We made an amazing video for it. I made a beat. By the way, the beat has no unlicensed samples in it. I made the whole thing myself. I wrote all the lyrics myself, all the beats are mine. And that'll be going up on YouTube and Spotify next week. I'll also be recreating Sick Boy because those lyrics and that arrangement is mine. So for the anniversary of Sick Boy the album, you will be getting Sick Boy the beat remade, bigger and better than ever, without Kujo's input on it. So look forward to that as well. And then there's also a third song dropping that's a little bit more positive. Next week's song is angry, alright? I'm just gonna warn you there. And before Kujo and his before they start complaining about blah blah blah, artistic license here, you know what? I've said my piece. I'm not interested in ruining your life, bro, but I felt like I needed to get it out somehow. And so I got it out somehow. And I hope you're watching this, man, and I hope you enjoy the song, because it's dedicated to you, baby. Anyway, guys, I know that this was a long video, but I wanted there to be no doubt as to where everything stood in this situation and why you don't have a song that means so much to so many people and means so much to me. But there will be a revamped version of that song coming very soon, guys. And if you've made it this far, thank you sincerely. And I hope there can be no doubt as to this situation. Thank you.
Love it. Wow. Whoa. All I gotta say is that Kujo made a really bad mistake. Poor guy. Poor guy is all I have to say. That is insane. But now we have a few other things to check out and follow up on now that we've watched this video. So we definitely have to watch or react to Kujo Beatdown and even the remastered version of Sick Boy. I think I reacted to, I'm assuming the original is maybe back up. I'm curious to see like what happened between this video and now, because it seemed to me like I reacted to the original version because I feel like that was I remember hearing the Bulgarian sample in it, which I honestly really liked. So too bad, I really don't understand that. But yeah, I mean, overall, my opinion of this is just that when something goes right for someone and like an artist makes really great art, someone always wants to try to take away from that in some way, whether it be money or creatively. It's really interesting. Hopefully Ren has kind of healed from this a little bit. Hopefully he has moved on, has gotten that anger out of his heart, and honestly has been really successful despite this. So really impressed with how Ren handled this overall. But the next time we're going to be reacting to Ren, we're going to be reacting to Kujo Beatdown. So I'm excited for that. Anyway, I hope you guys enjoyed this. Thanks for joining me on this 40-minute journey. I really appreciate you guys, and I'll be catching y'all in the next one. Peace.